I'm holding the envelope now. My hands won't stop shaking. The paper is yellowed at the edges, and his handwriting on the front says 3 words that make my chest collapse. If I'm gone. I wasn't supposed to find this for another 20 years. Maybe never. But here it is, pulled from the back of his desk drawer by his brother 2 weeks after we buried him, and I can't breathe. My name is Claire. I was married to David for 11 years. 11 years of coffee made exactly how I liked it, of his ridiculous laugh that sounded like a bark, of the way he'd tap his pocket watch 3 times before making any big decision. That watch, silver, engraved with his grandfather's initials. He carried it everywhere, even though it stopped working in 2019. He said some things didn't need to work to matter. We met at a bookstore. I dropped an entire stack of novels near the poetry section, and he helped me pick them up. He made a joke about Butterfingers. I laughed. He asked if I wanted coffee. That was March 15th, 2013. He remembered the date better than I did. He remembered everything better than I did. That's what made the forgetting so much worse. The letter came with instructions. His brother handed it to me in our living room, the one that still smells like David's cologne, even though I've washed everything twice. He told me to give this to you if anything happened to him, Mark said, but only when you were ready. He looked at me like he was waiting for me to shatter. I didn't. Not then. I just took the envelope and put it on the kitchen counter where it's been sitting for 6 days, watching me. I'm not ready. But I don't think I'll ever be. The house is too quiet now. Before David, I loved quiet. I'd spend Saturdays in complete silence, reading, existing in my own bubble. But his quiet is different. It presses down. It fills the rooms like smoke. Sometimes I walk through the hallway and expect to hear him in the kitchen, humming off key to that old Fleetwood Mac song he loved, The Chain. He said it reminded him of us, connected even when we pulled in different directions. We'd been pulling in different directions for 2 years. I didn't notice when it started, or maybe I did and I ignored it. He started coming home later, not in a suspicious way, in a tired way. He'd walk through the door at 8, 9, sometimes 10 at night, and the light in his eyes would be dimmed, like someone had turned down the brightness. I'd ask him what was wrong. He'd smile. That smile that didn't reach anywhere near his eyes. Just work stuff, he'd say. Nothing you need to worry about. I believed him because it was easier. Then there was the fight. The big one. November 7th, last year. I remember because it was 3 days after his birthday, and I'd planned this whole dinner that he missed. He called at 7 to say he couldn't make it. Emergency at work. I sat at the table with 2 plates of pasta going cold and a cake I'd spent 4 hours decorating, and something inside me snapped. When he finally came home at midnight, I was waiting. You don't care anymore, I said. He just stood there, keys in hand, looking at me like I'd stabbed him. That's not fair, he said. His voice was so quiet. Isn't it? You're never here. You're always somewhere else. Even when you're standing right in front of me, you're somewhere else. He pulled out that pocket watch, tapped it 3 times. I hated when he did that. It felt like he was buying time, calculating his response instead of just being honest with me. Claire, there are things... Don't give me the things speech. Just tell me the truth. Do you still want this? Do you still want us? The pause was too long. 3 seconds, maybe 5, but it felt like an hour. Of course I do, he said. But I didn't believe him, and I'm not sure he believed himself. After that, we existed in the same space, but stopped living in the same world. We were polite, careful, like roommates who didn't want to trigger a lease dispute. He slept on his side of the bed. I slept on mine. Some mornings I'd wake up and his hand would be reaching across the space between us, fingers stretched out like he'd been trying to find me in his sleep. But in the daylight, we barely touched. I started noticing other things. Small things that didn't make sense. He'd get phone calls and step outside to take them. He started keeping a notebook in his car, spiral-bound, with a red cover. I saw it once when I borrowed his vehicle because mine was in the shop. It was sitting in the passenger seat and I opened it. The pages were filled with numbers, dates, times, addresses I didn't recognize, no context, just data. When I asked him about it, he said it was for a work project. He worked in insurance, risk assessment. I didn't press further because I didn't want another fight. The watch appeared more often. He'd pull it out during dinner, during conversations. Even during the rare moments when we'd sit on the couch together, watching something neither of us cared about, he'd have it in his hand, running his thumb over the glass face. Tap, tap, tap. "Why do you do that?" I asked him once. "Do what?" "The tapping. The watch. What are you counting?" He looked down at it like he'd forgotten it was there. "Time," he said. "Just making sure I'm using it right. That was January, 6 weeks before he died. I didn't know he was sick. That's the part that makes me want to scream. He didn't tell me, not a word, not a hint. He just kept going to work, kept coming home late, kept living like everything was normal, while something inside him was breaking down. It was a Tuesday, February 18th. I was at the grocery store when Mark called. "Claire, you need to get to St. Luke's Hospital." "Now." "What?" "Why? It's David. He collapsed at work. They're doing tests. Just get here." I left the cart in the middle of aisle 7 and drove 90 miles an hour through red lights I barely saw. My brain kept trying to make sense of it. Collapsed. David didn't collapse. He was healthy. He went running every Sunday. He ate salads. He was fine. He wasn't fine. By the time I got to the hospital, he was unconscious. They told me it was an aneurysm, sudden, unpredictable, nothing anyone could have done. He'd been coding when they brought him in. They got him back. But the damage was severe. The doctor used words like massive bleed and brain death and decisions we need to make, and I couldn't hear any of it, because all I could see was David in that bed with tubes coming out of him and machines beeping and his hand just lying there, still no longer reaching for anything. I held that hand for 6 hours. I talked to him. I apologized for the fight, for the distance, for not asking better questions. I told him I loved him. I told him I was sorry. I told him to please wake up. He didn't. We removed life support on February 20th. He died at 4:47 p.m. I was holding his hand when his heart stopped, and the last thing I felt was his fingers twitch once, like he was trying to hold on. The funeral was a blur. People said things. I nodded. His mother sobbed. Mark gave a eulogy that I didn't hear. They lowered him into the ground, and I stood there thinking about how we'd never finish that conversation. The one from November. But whether he still wanted us. I never got to tell him that I still wanted us, that I was just scared, that I didn't know how to reach him when he kept pulling away. And now he's in an envelope. The letter has been sitting on my counter for 6 days, and I've walked past it maybe 200 times. I've picked it up, put it down, picked it up again. I've held it up to the light trying to see through the paper. I've traced his handwriting with my finger. "If I'm gone." 3 words that mean I've already lost him, and somehow I'm about to lose him again. It's 11:34 p.m. now. The house is dark, except for the kitchen light. I'm standing at the counter with a glass of wine I poured an hour ago, but haven't touched. The envelope is in front of me. I've been staring at it for so long that the words are starting to blur. Mark said David wrote it 2 years ago. 2 years. Right around the time everything started changing. Right around the time he started coming home late and pulling away and tapping that damn watch, like he was running out of something. I think I know what the letter says. I think it's going to be an explanation. Maybe an apology. Maybe a confession about an affair or a secret life or something that will finally make sense of why he stopped being present. Part of me doesn't want to know. Part of me wants to burn it and let him stay perfect in my memory, frozen in the version of him that made me laugh in a bookstore 12 years ago. But that's not fair to him. And it's not fair to me. I pick up the envelope. It's heavier than it should be. The kitchen smells like the lemon cleaner I used this morning, trying to scrub away the feeling of grief that sticks to every surface. It doesn't work. Grief isn't something you can clean. I slide my finger under the seal. The glue is old, and it comes apart easily. Inside there are three things: a letter, folded, his handwriting, a photo, us, on our wedding day. He's mid-laugh, and I'm looking at him like he's the only person in the world. And the pocket watch, his grandfather's watch, the one he carried everywhere, the one that stopped working 5 years ago, but that he never let go of. I pull out the watch first. It's heavier than I remember. Cold. I turn it over, and there's something engraved on the back that I've never seen before. Fresh engraving, recent, 5 more minutes, always. That phrase. He used to say it all the time, when we were dating and I'd have to leave for work. When we were newlyweds and I'd try to get him out of bed on Saturday mornings. 5 more minutes, he'd say, pulling me back down. Just give me 5 more minutes with you. I haven't heard him say it in 2 years. I set the watch down, pick up the letter. The paper is crisp, like he wrote it yesterday, even though I know he didn't. Even though I know he wrote it back when things were still good between us, or maybe right when they started falling apart. My vision is already blurry. I haven't even started reading, and I'm crying. The letter is 3 pages, front and back. His handwriting is neat, careful. He's taken his time with every word. I sit down at the kitchen table, the same table where we ate cold pasta on his birthday, the same table where we had our last breakfast together, barely speaking, him scrolling through his phone while I pretended to read the news. I start reading. Claire, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for so many things, but mostly I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you the truth while I was still here to hold your hand through it. My breath catches. I have to stop. Count to 10. Keep going. 2 years ago, I went to the doctor for a routine checkup, just a physical, nothing serious. But they found something, an irregularity in my brain scans. They did more tests, MRI, CT, all the letters that sound scary because they are. The diagnosis was complicated, but the simple version is this. I had a ticking bomb in my head. An aneurysm, not a small one, not something they could fix, not something that had any warning signs. The doctors told me it could rupture at any time. Tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now. There was no way to know, no surgery that could help, no treatment, just waiting. And I know what you're thinking right now. Why didn't he tell me? Why did he keep this secret? Because I couldn't watch you live every day waiting for me to die. I have to put the letter down. My hands are shaking too hard. The words are swimming. I press my palms to my eyes and try to breathe, but the air won't come. It's stuck somewhere between my lungs and my throat. He knew he was dying and he didn't tell me. I'm angry. I'm so angry I could scream, but I'm also devastated, and the devastation is winning. I pick the letter back up. You would have treated me like glass. You would have watched me every second, waiting for the moment it happened. And I didn't want that for you. I didn't want that for us. I wanted you to live, Claire, really live. Not spend every day holding your breath. So I made a plan. The late nights at work weren't work. They were appointments, specialists, lawyers, financial planners. I was getting everything in order, making sure you'd be taken care of. The life insurance was a nightmare to sort out with a pre-existing condition, but I managed. I met with our financial advisor 6 times to restructure everything so you'd be secure. I wrote a will. I updated our accounts. I even prepaid the mortgage for 5 years because I know how much you love this house, and I didn't want you to lose it. The notebook you found in my car, that wasn't a work project. Those were dates, times I felt off. Headaches, dizzy spells, vision problems. I was tracking symptoms so that if the worst happened suddenly, at least there would be a record, something for you to give to doctors if you needed answers. And the watch. God, the watch. I started carrying it everywhere because it reminded me that time is the only thing that matters. Not money, not work, not stuff, just time. The time we have, the time we share. The time I didn't know how much of I had left. I know I pulled away. I know I wasn't present the way I should have been. Every time I looked at you, I thought about how much I was going to hurt you when I died. Every conversation felt like it might be the last one. Every dinner, every laugh, every fight. I was so scared of losing you that I started losing you anyway. The fight we had in November, when you asked if I still wanted us. Claire, I've never wanted anything more in my life, but I didn't know how to tell you that I was dying without breaking both of us. So I said nothing. And I watched you suffer thinking I didn't care, when the truth is I cared so much it was killing me faster than the aneurysm. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know when you're reading this. If I'm lucky, it's decades from now, and the aneurysm never ruptured, and I died peacefully in my sleep as an old man who got more time than the doctors thought. If I'm not lucky, it's soon. Too soon. And you're sitting in our kitchen wondering why I didn't fight harder to stay. But here's the truth. I fought every single day. Every morning I woke up next to you was a fight won. Every dinner we shared, every stupid argument about whose turn it was to take out the trash, every moment was me fighting to stay longer, to get 5 more minutes with you. That's what the watch means now. I had it engraved a month ago. 5 more minutes, always. Because that's what I wanted, every single day, just 5 more minutes. I know you're angry. You should be. I robbed you of the chance to say goodbye properly. I robbed us of the chance to be honest with each other in the time we had left. But I need you to understand, I did this because I love you, not because I didn't. I was trying to protect you from the pain, and instead, I just made it worse. That's on me. So now I need you to do something for me. Live, Claire. Really live. Stop waiting for permission to be happy. Stop holding back. Stop playing it safe. Take the trip to Italy you always talked about. Read poetry in public. Laugh too loud. Fall in love again when you're ready. Don't spend your life guarding my memory like it's fragile. I'm not fragile. Our love wasn't fragile. It was strong enough to survive my stupidity, and it's strong enough to survive my death. You're going to be okay. Better than okay. You're going to be extraordinary. Because that's who you are. That's who you've always been. The watch is yours now. Keep it. Or don't. But if you do keep it, I want you to tap it 3 times whenever you're making a big decision. Not because you need permission, but because I'll be there with you, in the space between the taps, reminding you that you're not alone. Thank you for 11 years. Thank you for coffee and laughter and fights and forgiveness. Thank you for loving me even when I made it impossible. Thank you for being the best thing that ever happened to me. 5 more minutes, Claire. That's all any of us ever want. I got 760 minutes with you, I counted, and every single one of them was worth it. I love you. I'm gone. But I'm not really gone. I'm in the kitchen making your coffee. I'm in the bookstore where we met. I'm in every terrible joke and every Fleetwood Mac song. I'm wherever you need me to be. Live for both of us now. David. The letter falls from my hands. I'm not sitting anymore. I'm on the floor, on my knees. And I'm sobbing so hard that I can't see, can't breathe. Can't do anything except feel every ounce of pain and love and regret crashing through me like a wave that won't stop. He knew. He knew the whole time. And he spent 2 years protecting me instead of letting me protect him. I pick up the watch, hold it against my chest, tap it 3 times, and I hear him. Not really, but in my head, in my heart, in the silence between the taps. 5 more minutes, he says. Just 5 more minutes. But we're out of minutes, we're out of time, and I never got to tell him that I understood, that I forgave him, that I would have spent every second of those 2 years by his side, watching him, loving him, holding him, if he'd just let me. But he didn't, and now he's gone, except he's not. He's in this letter, in this watch, in the coffee cup I still haven't thrown away, in the space on his side of the bed that still smells like him. I sit on the kitchen floor for an hour, maybe more. I read the letter 3 more times. I cry until there's nothing left, and then I stand up. I wash my face. I put the watch in my pocket where I can feel its weight against my hip, and I make a decision. Tomorrow I'm going to start living again, not because the grief is gone, but because he asked me to, because he spent his last 2 years making sure I'd be okay, and the least I can do is try. I'm going to book that trip to Italy. I'm going to read poetry in a park. I'm going to laugh too loud and stop apologizing for taking up space. I'm going to tap this watch 3 times before every big decision, and I'm going to feel him there with me, in the space between. And someday, when I'm ready, I'm going to love again, not to replace him, but to honor him, to prove that his love made me brave enough to open my heart even after it's shattered. If you're reading this, or listening to this, or watching this, don't wait. Don't assume you have time. Don't keep secrets because you're trying to protect someone. Don't let fear steal your minutes. Say the things you need to say. Ask the questions you're afraid to ask. Hold on tighter. Love louder. Because one day, someone you love is going to be gone. And all you'll have left are the minutes you didn't waste, the words you said, the truth you told. Don't let them go without knowing. Don't let yourself wonder what if. Just 5 more minutes. That's all we ever want. Make sure the ones you have count. David is gone, but what we had isn't. It's here, in this watch, in these words, in the way I choose to live every day moving forward. 5 more minutes, always. That's how I'll remember him. That's how I'll survive this. 5 more minutes, always.